This morning we are going to look at a person's life who was transformed.
是聖經嘅路加福音第19至19第17。
And the passage is found in Luke chapter 19 verses 1 to 10.
記得一個人生命完全改變嘅故事。
It records a story about a person whose life was completely transformed.
你嚟看咪？
Let us look at it.
因為時間關係，我請寶山姐用英文嚟讀個漢文嘅聖漢漢文嘅係指俾你看這個 screen 還是看嚟聖經嗬？
Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but being a short man, he could not because of the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anyone out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save what was lost."
這個人嘅名叫做撒該。
This person's name is Zacchaeus.
這個人嘅生命真有改變。
And how was his life changed?
你看第7節，
Let us look at verse 7.
聖人看到就說話議論講，耶穌竟然到罪人家嚟去徛。
All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner."
先啊，
罪人。
聖人講一句話，撒該是個罪人。
And the public declared that he is a man who is a sinner.
咱大家知呀，我是一個罪人，我家己咪是個罪人。
And all of us know that each one of us, I am a sinner.
但是無人敢公開講你是一個罪人。
But then nobody publicly ever say that you are a sinner.
但是耶利哥城嘅人公開講一句話，撒該是個罪人。
However, the people in Jericho publicly declared that Zacchaeus is a sinner.
因為撒該實在是耶利哥中間出名嘅大罪人。
Because in the city of Jericho, Zacchaeus is actually very notorious for being a sinner.
但是第9節，
But then in verse 9,
耶穌講：今日你救恩已經到了這個家庭，因為這個人是亞伯拉罕嘅子孫。
Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham."
今日你這個人已經得救了。
And today this person is already saved.
今日你這個人唔是罪人，這個是因信得救嘅義人。
And this person is no longer a sinner today, but rather a person who is justified by faith.
撒該對罪人變做義人，
And Zacchaeus, being a sinner, now is turned to become a righteous man.
而生命180度完全嘅改變。
And his life was changed 180 degrees.
請問
Let me ask you
中
this.
間發生了什麼大事？
What happened in between?
是什麼規律、什麼辦法，讓這個罪人變咗這個義人？
What power and what way caused this sinner to become a righteous man?
我相信咱每一個人希望咱嘅生命值得改變。
And I believe each one of us wants our lives to be changed.
有時候咱家己真正生氣家己，
Sometimes we are even mad at ourselves.
為什麼我是安尼？
How come I am like this?
我明明知影唔應該做安尼個嘅代志，
I know I'm not supposed to do this.
為什麼我追落去？
However, how come I
我
did
嘅
it?
生命真有得完全嘅改變，
How can my life be changed
世
completely?
界是真有改變。
And how did Zacchaeus change?
你若注意聽頭先咪寶山之作大嘅這段嘅經文嘅裏
If you
面，
carefully listen and read the passage that we had,
裏面有一個字一擺 repeat and repeat 出來喺呢個中間，
there was a word that keeps on repeating in this passage.
下面叫做看，
In Chinese, it says look
還是saw 英
or
文？
saw in English.
你看咪第3節，
Let us look at verse 3.
世界被看耶穌是什麼款嘅人？
And Zacchaeus wanted to see,
但是因為小嘅衰漢未看到。
but because he was short, he could not.
第4節，
Verse 4.
你就走到頭前，逼喺橋頂，逼看耶穌。
So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see Jesus.
第5節，
Verse 5.
耶穌到這，我頭去看這個世界。
When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him,
第7節，
verse
聖
7,
人攏看。
all the people saw.
這段經文裏面，這個看，這個 saw，這個 look，repeat 一擺喺呢個中間。
So again, these words are being repeated, saw, look at.
世界嘅改變，
And Zacchaeus changed.
就是因為看，
It is because of being able to see.
而 look，
He looked.
佢 look 伊嘅生命完全嘅改變。
And because of that look, his life was completely
今日日
changed. This morning,
咱嚟看
today,
咪，
let us look at this.
看到什麼大事，好咱嘅生命有通改變。
Let us look at what would cause our lives to be changed.
咱大家嚟看咪，世界這個人未改變以前，世界是什麼款嘅人？
So first thing is we would like to look at the kind of person Zacchaeus was before his transformation.
我講這個人是叫做名不符實的人。
We will address him as a person whose reputation does not match his name.
伊嘅名甲伊嘅生命是未配未對嘅。
Because his name and the life that he lived doesn't match.
世界這個人嘅名意思是什麼？
What is the meaning of the name Zacchaeus?
世界意思是講 the just and pure。
Sakai 嘅意思是公平、清潔。
這個名當然是世界老爸老母給伊這個名。
And of course, this name of Zacchaeus was given to him by his parents.
唔望這個囝長大是一個公平清潔嘅人。
And they were hoping that their son, when he grew up, will be a person who is just and pure.
這是咱每一個做父母人對囡仔嘅唔望。
And also, this is the dreams that we have as parents as regards our children.
咱有囡仔嘅時陣，
And when we have
咱
children,
有囡仔起一個名，
and we will give names to them.
這個名有落在父母嘅心嘅唔望嘅裡面。
And there is a lot of dreams that comes together with the name that we give them.
唔望我嘅囝，我嘅查某囝，將來就是親像這個名同款嘅人。
That my children, my sons and daughters, one day will be as their names.
你若是頭一擺來 CBCB 嘅教會，
If this is your first time to come to
還是
CBCP,
最近嚟 CBCB 嘅
or
教
let's say
會，
has come to CBCP recently,
可能你唔知啊。
and probably you did not know,
我有三個囡仔，
I have 3 children.
我嘅三個囡仔漢文名是我家己予伊，
And the Chinese names of my children are all given by myself.
真簡單嘅名，
Very simple names.
是頭叫做以愛，
First one is Ei.
第二叫做以撒，
The second
叫做
one
以
is
善，
Sin.
第三個叫做以旺。
And the third is Yi Wang.
為什麼我三個囡仔有這三個名？
How can I have these 3 names for my children?
我有真多唔望佇這三個囡仔嘅順序。
Because I have a lot of hopes and dreams as regards my children.
我嘅時代叫做以愛，
My eldest, I called him
但我
Ei.
予伊嘅名嘅時陣，
And when I gave him this name,
我心內有一個唔望，
in my heart I have this hope
唔望這個囡仔一生聽上帝，
that in his life he will love the Lord.
一生互上帝所聽。
That in his entire life he will be loved by God as well.
一個聽主所聽嘅人，當然人嘅是聽伊。
A person who is loved by God and who also loves God will also be loved by people.
第二家叫做以善，
And the second child is Yi Sin.
這個善是羅馬書第1章嘅意思。
And this is found in Romans chapter 1.
這個善是本的善，高的善，
It is through faith and
是副善就是對啦。
with faith and true faith.
我嘅家一生用信心對一生開始到結束，
And I'm hoping that in his entire life he will start with faith and end with
一
faith.
生做一個有信心嘅人。
That in his entire life he will be a person of faith.
所以是以往，
And the last one is Yi Wang.
是個盼望嘅意思。
And it means hope.
我望上帝是我嘅囡仔一生嘅盼望。
And I hope that God will be my son's and my daughter's eternal hope.
我唔知你做父母嘅時候，你予你嘅囝什麼名？
I don't know as parents what kind of names you gave your
你有什
children.
麼唔望佇你嘅囝嘅身上？
And what kind of hopes you've given, you expected from them.
但係真明顯，
However, what is obvious
世界
here,
嘅父母予這個囝叫做世界，
when the parents of Zacchaeus gave him his name,
唔望這個
Zacchaeus,
囝做一個正直清潔嘅人，
and they're hoping that this son of theirs will be a person who's just and pure.
但係真可惜，
However,
世
unfortunately,
界嘅生命及伊名完全嘅無相，
the life Zacchaeus lived does not match at all with the name that he has.
即係知影無相。
So how did we come to know it's
先
different?
講有一個人叫做世界是水裏丟一個財主。
Because the Bible says this is a man by the name Zacchaeus. He's a chief tax collector and a wealthy man.
這句話有一個真conflict、真矛盾嘅代志發生。
Because in this phrase, there's actually a very conflicting truth.
伊是一個水裏丟，
On one hand, he's a chief tax
伊竟然
collector,
一個財主。
but then on the other hand, he was a very wealthy
這是什麼
man.
問題？
So what's the problem here?
伊嘅收入及伊嘅身份未相稱。
That is his income and his status did not match up.